Hello and thanks for joining us on Nationwide on the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojintan. Moved by the need to stem the tide of an impending flood crisis across the country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed an immediate plan of action to mitigate the impact of any disaster. At an emergency meeting presided over by Vice President Kashim Shettima, President Tinubu gave marching orders to the Committee for an Action Plan on all the reports received at the recent National Economic Council on Flood, the 2022 National Flood Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan, as well as all other national reports on flood. Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello will serve as chairman of the committee to produce a roadmap by harmonizing all the reports received, while Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State will serve as Vice Chairman, which is expected to submit its recommendations in 7 days. Vice President Shettima said the submissions by the other relevant stakeholders are equally poignant and the government cannot afford to take chances. He noted that a feasible roadmap would address the flood crisis in Nigeria, adding that responsibilities would be shouldered by the Northeast Development Commission, Niger Delta Development Commission, and the federal government.
The plans can be actioned so that all of our people that have been ravaged by flood will begin to have a succor. And then, still in the roadmap, because there are immediate, medium-term, and long-term solutions to all of these problems. So, in that particular roadmap that we shall come up with, everything will be put on the table so that eventually we'll have a permanent solution to this flood.
Critical stakeholders in the climate space and energy sectors in Africa are meeting in Abuja, Nigeria. They are deliberating on a broad roadmap towards achieving a greener future through a robust financing of the energy transition plans of government. Charles Alpha reports.
This meeting is coming on the heels of the last African Climate Summit held in Nairobi, Kenya. The idea is to seek ways to add value to proclamations made on financing gas as a transition fuel, unlocking investment in renewable energy while mainstreaming climate justice of Africa's energy transition plans for a greener future.
Africa is a different climate entirely. We need to begin to design what works for Africa.
The ultimate goal of the African Climate Forum 2023 is to rally and channel activities of stakeholders in the energy sector towards achieving a greener future for all. But the assurances from this forum is that Nigeria has a robust, inclusive, and timely energy transition plans.
In the quest for a brighter future, Africa, and indeed Nigeria, must step up dialogue around innovation.
We can bridge the financing that is needed to make that happen.
This presents an opportunity to deliver on Nigeria's nationally determined contributions, whose implementation explores and channels resources into viable green projects.
For the next 2 days, the forum will foster insightful discussions, share innovative strategies that will accelerate investments in the Africa's energy transition projects. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tugar has reaffirmed Nigeria's priority to use its demography in ensuring improved health service delivery across the country. The minister was speaking when he was presented credentials by the new representative of the United Nations Populations Fund in Nigeria, Dr. Gifty Adiko, a national of Ghana and a medical doctor. Dr. Gifty Adiko served in various capacities with experience in strategic leadership in international development and health programs at global and national levels, focusing on developing countries. As resident representative, Dr. Adiko will provide overall vision and leadership for the work of UNFPA in Nigeria and will be accountable for implementing UNFPA's country program and operations. The Foreign Affairs Minister assured of working closely with United Nations Population Fund in streamlining the nation's demography under the ministry's diplomacy to achieve President Tinubu's 8-point agenda. The United States says her Fit the Future Nigeria Agribusiness Program has attracted more than 180 billion naira worth of investment in the country. This is coming as Nigeria is set to host the 2023 Africa Cassava Conference. Musa Aliyu has the details.
In 2008, Nigeria keyed into the United States Feed the Nation's agricultural program. The initiative brought partners together to address the root causes of hunger and poverty by boosting agricultural-led growth, resilience and nutrition in countries with great need and opportunity for improvement. The $15.7 million for Nigeria, the U.S. agency says, has assisted over 17,000 micro, small and medium enterprises in 7 states of Benue, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, Kaduna, Kebbi and Niger.
As we celebrate 5 years of significant achievements in the agribusiness investment activity, we urge the Nigerian government and financial sector counterparts to continue to advocate for pro-business policies in the agriculture sector, such as the Investment and Security Bill of 2022.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and that of Trade and Investment says the financial assistance and the approach has significantly improved the country's food security.
Further support the agricultural initiatives of governments for collective impact on smallholder farmers to boost food availability and create job opportunities for our teeming population.
The Ministry would particularly like to extend our collaboration to Feed the Future Nigeria Agribusiness Investment Activities towards implementation of Nigeria's Industrial Revolution Plan.
In the meantime, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, said Nigeria will maximize all the benefits and potentials in cassava production for export.
The Federal Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, through the cassava value chain, is continuously working earnestly towards continuous promotion and development of cassava and its derivatives, leveraging on the country's comparative advantage of the commodity as world's largest producer with a view to driving its maximum benefits.
The Cassava Conference is scheduled for next week, just as the country is set to mark World Food Day on the 16th of October 2023. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
The aspirations of the girl child forced to escape the burden of gender bias and, more importantly, to have a voice in the society can be realized with the deployment of education as a key weapon. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, said this while addressing this year's International Day of the Girl Child in Abuja. Describing the girl child as a potential transformation agent whose creativity and resilience will serve the nation, the First Lady says the society has a collective duty to remove barriers imposed by misconception on the worth of girls and create an environment where they are safe to learn and grow. To demonstrate the importance of education, the First Lady says her Renewed Hope initiative is looking at promoting alternative high school for girls while supporting efforts to end gender-based violence.
Our girls are the change makers, the innovators, and the dreamers who will shape our world. To my girls all over Nigeria, dream big and positively, because the dream will keep you alive and keep you going. Let's support their dreams, for their rights are our future.
Highlighting programs and action plan lined up for the development of the girl child in the Renewed Hope agenda of the federal government, Minister of Women Affairs, Senator Uju Ohanenye, notes that it is important for girls to build their confidence in order to have a voice.
All hands are not equal. So no matter the level you are, it will be very good you learn something like a skill, but don't forget your education.
Reaffirming their commitment and support to the federal government in the realization of its Renewed Hope agenda with respect to the girl child, UNICEF and other development partners reiterate the need to invest in girls and strengthen laws that protect their rights. Meanwhile, the advocacy for the girl child to enjoy equal rights as her male counterpart has continued unabated at the 2023 World International Day for the Girl Child, where Ministry of Education commemorated the day. There is commitment that the girls will never remain in the backseats going forward. Abdullah Musa Suleja reports.
Are the days when the status of a girl remain in the background. For some time now, the campaign to promote her well-being has been in increase. Hardly will weeks or months pass without the issue on right of a girl feature at different fora. Though gender inequality remains, but the push to reduce it has been on the increase.
In the Nigerian context, our government has undertaken significant policy initiatives aimed at addressing the specific challenges faced by the Nigerian girl child. Allow me to share some statistics and data to illustrate our progress.
The Ministry, under the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment Agile project, we have made a lot of provision that is going to be a comfortable situation for the out-of-school girl to be comfortable in the learning environment.
Concern is being raised. As attention is daily shifted to the girl, there is fear that if that continues without commensurate attention to the boy, the life of male children, some of whom are already roaming the streets, will gradually be endangered. Abdullah Musa Suleja, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide. It's now time for us to go over to our Lagos Network Center for more from that end with Adiola as our guide.
Thank you, Ifoma. As part of efforts to create a more conducive environment across its formations and ensure the safety of Lagos residents, the Nigerian Army has concluded arrangements to remove unexploded ordnances during the bomb incident at the Ikeja cantonment in 2002. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, disclosed this when he paid a courtesy visit on the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the State House in Marina, Lagos. Musa Toliat has the report.
The combat readiness of the Nigerian armed forces has never been in doubt, even in the face of extreme insurgency. Various operations launched by the armed forces to deal with specific security threats have been responsible for the successes recorded over time. The need to intimate Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu with the end-of-year Nigerian Army operations ahead of Yuletide season necessitated the visit by the Chief of Army Staff.
The Nigerian Army has put together an exercise, nicknamed Exercise Clean Sweep. It is designed to remove unexploded ordinances at the site of the 2002 bomb explosion in the Ikeja cantonment. We envisage that Nigerians will travel a lot, and we need to provide a safe and secure passage for these Nigerians that are traveling home or coming into Lagos to enjoy the festive season. So we have put together 3 exercises: the exercise Golden Dawn, Enduring Peace, and Still Water.
Governor Sanwo-Olu promised to ensure the army gets all the necessary support for the operations, which is aimed at boosting internal security in the state.
It's also important for me to acknowledge and thank, through the GOC and the Night Brigade, the support that we have on our security architecture in Lagos. OP Mensa, working with the Nigerian Air Force especially, and sometimes with the Nigerian Navy, has in situ, and has taken charge, of complementary support to the Nigerian police force. So they work hand in hand, and we've seen the effect of it.
He further expressed appreciation for the sacrifices made by the soldiers to check insurgencies and secure the territorial integrity of the country. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
The federal government's efforts aimed at improving the image of the country has continued to inspire more Nigerians in the diaspora to express willingness to contribute their quota to the upliftment of the country. Director General Nigerians in Diaspora Commission Abike Dabiri-Erewa disclosed this at a media interactive forum jointly addressed with the Lagos State government to unveil this year's Door of Return event, which is organized to welcome willing Nigerians in the diaspora back to the country. Again, Musa Toliat. completes the report.
In few days, Lagos State government and the Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission will roll out the drums to celebrate the sons and daughters of the country after sojourn in foreign lands across the world. The Door of Return event includes receiving the diasporans with pomps and pageantry to showcase the cultural heritage of Badagry, where their ancestors were taken away as slaves more than 400 years ago.
What is significant about this year's event is that Dr. Julius Marcus Garvey Jr. is our special guest of honor. This is significant, it's historic. It's going to be the first time coming to this part of the world. Now, what the Lagos State will do eventually is build a permanent door in Badagry, Lagos. So when you come witness the Joy of Return ceremony on the 21st of October, you're going to see what Badagry has, what Lagos has for tourism.
Lagos State government is also activating the tourism potentials of the state, as Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is expected to receive the diasporans through the Door of Return.
We're going to make sure that every black man who wishes to trace their history back to Africa comes through that door, and Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu is committed to this project. Badagry is a hidden treasure. Badagry is somewhere where everybody who is residing in Lagos and Nigeria must visit at one point in time in their life.
The diaspora are transformative agents for tourism. They have the potential to turn around things in our nation, in West Africa, and I dare say Africa and the world.
The Door of Return Festival will feature visits to historical sites in Badagry division of the state.
DITCOM says for those who are willing to come back through the Door of Return, they will be treated like kings and queens when they come back to their motherland.
In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And that's a contribution from Lagos. For now, Nationwide will continue with a smile in Sokoto after the break. To stay.
Welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. The Sokoto State Police Command has intensified efforts in tackling crimes and criminalities in the state from July to September this year. State Commissioner of Police Aliyu Hayatu Kaigama disclosed this while briefing newsmen in Sokoto. Dalhatu Abdullahi reports.
The Sokoto State Commissioner of Police Aliyu Hayatu Kaigama said to rid the state of all forms of crimes and criminalities, the State Police Command embarked on aggressive patrols, raids of criminal hideouts, visibility policing, and community engagements. This led to the arrest of kidnappers, recovery of firearms and ammunition, among others. He said recently some suspected bandits invaded Yar Abba and Sala villages in Wamako local government, where 4 persons were kidnapped and 1 injured. The command team was able to trace and rescue 6 victims and arrested 3 suspects. An AK-49 rifle with 2 magazines loaded with 15 live ammunition, a locally fabricated pistol with 12 rounds of live ammunition, a Cassia motorcycle, and 9 GSM phones suspected to belong to kidnapped victims. Similarly, the command arrested Dauda Ahmad, a bandit and kidnapper who has been terrorizing Runjan Sambo, Gedanewe, Gedandari, and Kolkolawa areas in Sokoto metropolis, while 3 of his gang members were also arrested. The command also arrested Isa Abubakar, who has been terrorizing Goranyo, Wurunu, Wamako, and Bodinga local governments, and 1 fabricated revolver gun. Another group was arrested for criminal conspiracy, mischief, and electricity theft, and offering of bribe. They include Rafai Isani, Yusha'u Abubakar, and Ahmad Bello of Sokoto metropolis.
During interrogation, the suspects offered them the sum of 800,000 as bribe to enable them escape arrest. Upon investigation, they confessed to have stolen the said wares from electric poles located along Sanyina Road in Tamba local government.
While 3 others were arrested for criminal conspiracy, robbery, and an attempt to commit culpable homicide. CP Hayatu Kaigama said all the suspects will be charged to court. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
About 550,000 households are benefiting from the federal and Kebbi state palliatives to cushion the impact of fuel subsidy removal. Governor Nasir Idris commenced distribution of the palliatives in Mayama local government area of the state. Correspondent Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa reports.
Vulnerable people such as the elderly and the physically challenged are also to benefit from the palliatives to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. A portion was also earmarked for civil servants at the state and the federal levels.
We appreciate this gesture from the government. May God reward them.
Emphasis is going to be given to the most vulnerable people among us in the society. And you can see it is the most vulnerable people that are here.
Governor Nasir Idris, while flagging of the distribution, says the state government expend 5 billion naira to complement the federal government's effort towards the palliative.
Whatever is to be shared to our people must be shared to our people judiciously. Anybody we found wanting or diverted these food items will deal with the person accordingly.
Items distributed include rice, millet, and guinea corn, among others. In Birnin Kebbi, Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and all other social media handles displayed on your screens for updates. It's now back to Abuja for the continuation of the news.
Many thanks, Asmao. The future of the girl child to explore her full potentials lies in the proper mentorship of parents and the society. That was the lead message of She Forum Africa in commemoration of the International Day of the Girl Child with the theme, Invest in Girls' Rights, Our Leadership, Our Well-Being. Ngozi Technical reports.
International Day of the Girl Child, as promulgated by UNICEF, is aimed at mentoring adolescent girls to advocate their rights and break the barriers of molestation and abuse, among other limitations preventing the female gender from attaining their full potentials.
The global theme is emphasizing on investing in all the things that support the development, the leadership development of the girl child, to the point where they can begin to contribute to policy direction, to development changes in the country.
As older women, we can mentorship the younger ones and kind of guide their ways. How is it to become women?
With heightened vigor, some of the girls are determined not to give up in achieving their aspirations.
I learned that I should always commit to self-esteem, self-confidence, set boundaries, and positivities.
It inspires me to be able to stand up and know that I should not be brought down, but I should be lifted up so that I'll be able to reach heights that have not been reached neither by men or by boys in my age.
With mentorship such as this set of girls are groomed to make positive change in Nigeria. Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, remains the most enduring pillar of information dissemination in Nigeria, with abundant prospects to drive the administration's value reorientation program. This was during the minister's official familiarization visit to the agencies under the ministry. Salihu Gonara reports.
51 days after assuming office as the Minister of Information and National Orientation, NTA headquarters in Abuja was the minister's first port of call. NTA's Director General Saliu Abdul Hamid Dembos led top management staff of the organization as they took the minister's team on a tour of the major operation areas where the minister had the opportunity to see for himself both men and equipment of the largest television network in Africa, the NTA.
As the international footprint of the NTA, we are responsible for transmitting programs that show the activities and the developmental strides of governments to Nigerians in Diaspora and to the international community. We are also vested with the responsibility of dealing with international organizations.
I'm equally pleased to note that you have commissioned 3 new expansive new studios. Of course, I saw all of them. One is still in the making. You have no doubt recorded a lot of progress. I mean, whatever you say about the NTA, it has recorded tremendous progress. One of my ambitions as the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation is to ensure the modernization of the public information platforms under my oversight, of which NTA is the most prominent.
We're able to also expand coverage to reach more viewers through various platforms, including live streaming. Leading in the news breaking through building a strong and reliable network of reportage and correspondence with established some bureaus in the UK, in the US, Egypt, Kenya, Ghana, and of course, South Africa.
And we'll put in our very best to make NTA the dream you want it to be. We assure you that we'll continue to break the news and will remain in the forefront of broadcasting in Nigeria.
The minister reaffirmed his primary mandate to ensure radical reforms of the public media organizations, particularly the Nigerian Television Authority, to sustain its reforms as the leading public broadcaster in Nigeria. He commended the digitization and modernization efforts of the management and promised his support. The Director General and top management staff of the National Broadcasting Commission also played host to the Minister of Information and National Orientation for the first time in about a decade. Here, Mohamed Idris said digital switchover is a mandate his ministry will pursue in order to put the nation's broadcast media on the pedestal of digital space.
It's important for NBC to step up its public engagement, for people to understand that the NBC is not just about sanction, it is also about its capacity to help the industry to grow, to help broadcasters to reach their potential.
Permit me, Honorable Minister, to inform you that the debt profile of broadcasters is over 3 billion naira as of today.
The minister urged the staff of the prospective agencies to focus attention on the renewed hope agenda towards building a more prosperous Nigeria. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
The mechanism of using the law as an instrument of settling disputes has been an age-long practice among citizens of various societies, and Nigeria is not left behind in this. The Nigerian Law School, in conjunction with the body of benchers, is furthering this tradition with a call to bar of 1,095 new legal practitioners who successfully passed the July bar final examination. Diaspora reports.
You may now put on your wigs. That announcement by the chairman body of benchers, Justice Mary Peter Odili, signifies the commencement of a lifetime of career as solicitors. For 1,095 new wigs who emerged successful out of 1,666 students who sat for the July 2023 final bar examination.
I'm so excited. It has been a long journey.
Their conferment as legal practitioners now confers several advantages and responsibilities on them. The chairman body of benchers, however, cautions them as members of the learned profession to always observe decorum in their conduct at all times.
In your service as a legal practitioner, you must not forget to put into practice the ethical and moral obligations of a lawyer that has been imbibed in you during your training.
I am happy to affirm that they all exhibited good manners and decorum during their training. They have also been groomed in the best ethics and ethos of our noble profession.
The official ceremony is now over. Friends and relatives were on hand to felicitate with the new wigs.
It's a day of joy. It's a day of fulfillment. And I'm happy that Almighty God has supported her to be able to finish up to this stage.
More than 128,000 legal practitioners who have graduated from the Nigerian Law School since its inception in 1963 have spearheaded the development of law in the country. Diaspora, NTA News.
The Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons has urged Nigerians to respect and cherish the invaluable contributions of senior citizens as they are assets and treasures to the nation. The event is the commemoration of the United Nations International Day of Older Persons in Abuja. Deborah Bala Bobo has to report.
It's our work.
The work was designed to rejuvenate the minds of the senior citizens and create awareness on the need for young people to strengthen the rights of the old persons.
Lack of attention to the elders is never as a result of poor economy, because where the heart is willing, it finds 1,000 ways. Where it is unwilling, it finds 1,000 excuses.
The basic thing is that they should pay attention to their fathers, their mothers, their grandma, their grandpa. They should give them time.
At 77, I'm still fit.
Yeah.
And they blessed me. There's a blessing that goes with you looking after your parents.
Older persons are accused to be witch when they are old. That is not a good one. That is very, very bad. That is enough to kill a person.
Organizers of the program say the association hopes to provide a platform for the entrenchment and sustenance of the well-being of older persons in Nigeria, thereby ensuring their welfare and dignity.
One of the most important is that there's no legal framework to define the rights and privileges of older persons and to protect their rights.
The association has also promised to admit 20 persons into the National Health Insurance Program, starting with the Mabushi community who attended the event. In Abuja, Deborah Balagubo, NTA News.
And for more on Nationwide, let's now go over to our Ibadan Network Center.
Thank you, Ifoma, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. Stakeholders and officers of Oyo State Police Command have been charged to imbibe team spirit and provide useful information to the police in order to rid the state of crimes and criminality. The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 11, stated these during his familiarization visit to the Oyo State Police Command. Rofia Animashan Badmus has the report.
While noting that effective policing thrives on discipline and teamwork, the IG Zone 11, Paul Odama, charged officers to shun corruption, imbibe professionalism, and continue to collaborate with stakeholders for relevant information.
I've told them the first thing they should do is to have confidence in themselves, and they know the law. They should operate according to the law. They should be disciplined, they should be clean, and they should shun corruption.
Representatives of sister agencies, traditional title holders, and other stakeholders in attendance promised continuous synergy with the police in ensuring a crime-free society.
In Oyo State here, we enjoy the best of community policing. The CP, the officers, and men of this command, and the best we have ever had.
It was a very interesting one, very educative and constructive. And they should work hard to see that there is peace and security in Oyo State.
The need to prioritize health and welfare of police personnel were also emphasized at the meeting. In Ibadan, Wofia and Mashan Badmos, NTA News.
Empowering the girl child is important for the development of any nation. This was brought to the fore during the celebration of the International Day of the Girl Child in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Omokainde Igbari's report is here presented.
Examining the living condition and survival of girl child in Nigeria as against the preferential treatment of boy child, it is observed that girls are discriminated against, especially in access to educational opportunities. How can this narrative be changed?
We have to make these young girls understand that they are important, that they have to take care of their own lives and not to be distracted, to be emotionally balanced, and to have their parents as their first friends.
As girl child carry a heavy burden, married off at an early age, which interferes with their education, health, or capacity for acquisition of skills needed for survival. Stakeholders call on parents and governments to follow up on constitutional provisions affecting underage marriage.
They should be friendly with their girls. Ask questions, know their whereabouts. If they are not happy, ask the reason why they are not happy.
Early marriage is a bad thing
though they engage in it in olden days, but not now. If you have a painful menstruation, you just drink a lot of warm water. You take painkillers like paracetamol.
But the theme for this year's International Day of the Girl Child, focusing on the need to invest in girls' rights, our leadership, our well-being. Stakeholders aim to sensitize the public on the needs to prioritize the welfare of the girl child for a sustainable future.
You're still watching Nationwide on the NTA. More reports after this timeout. Do stay with us.
The federal government has renewed its commitments to change the hardship being occasioned by out-of-pocket spending on health services in Nigeria. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, made the pledge while unveiling the NHIA Operational Guidelines 2023 in Abuja. Uche Ugochukwu reports.
This document is the secondary law that operationalizes the NHIA Act, which clarifies the roles and obligations of different stakeholders and facilitates the implementation of health insurance in Nigeria.
To the current and future enrollees of the national insurance ecosystem, I restate the commitment of NHIA to provide the needed leadership and regulatory oversight. We must all work together to ensure that we improve the change narrative. And the only way we can do that is to have a continuous and effective pool of resources that we can utilize to improve on healthcare delivery.
We still have a lot of work to do, because once we unveil this thing we have today, we now go to sensitization.
We don't want to have guidelines that will still stay on the shelf. But we have to ensure ways to ensure that we have a result-oriented dissemination of the guidelines so that they could be effectively utilized at the sub-national level up to the local government level.
Through collaboration, research and consideration of international best practices, the guidelines provide an enabling platform to attend to the healthcare of the 83 million vulnerable Nigerians.
One will give our own support to provide those funds, livelihood sustainability, whatever it is, that can help them afford to pay for their insurance who want to see that they are insured.
We are more committed as an organization in providing technical support to the NHI and SSHIAs.
And for the states that are here and will advocate that they provide the human resources to make the state health insurance schemes really stronger, to enroll their formal sector employees, and to provide their counterpart funding for the BHCPF, the 25% that they need to provide.
With this document, state and non-state actors believe Nigeria is on track to redefine healthcare and become a reference point in Africa and the world at large. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has given all the mandates and support needed to ensure timely response that will quickly see to the end of diphtheria outbreak in some states of the Federation. Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shuaibu, said this in Kano while on assessment visit to one of the isolation centers in the states. Amin Umar reports.
Diphtheria cases have so far been reported in 32 states in Nigeria, with Kano, Yobe, Katsina, and Kaduna recording more than 90% of the cases. Described as the epicenter of the outbreak, Kano has more than 10,000 suspected cases out of the 14,000 recorded nationwide, out of which 7,000 are confirmed to be diphtheria, with 570 deaths recorded. Hospital record also reveals that 22 diphtheria patients were admitted on the 10th of this month, with 4 deaths recorded on the same day. The visit by the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shaibu, is to assess the response level by the state governments to ensure the outbreak is brought under control as soon as possible.
The Coordinating Minister of Health has asked us as the Diphtheria Emergency Task Team to come and see how federal government can provide additional support. So federal government is working with our partners to make sure that the states get the vaccines that they need, to make sure that any resource that is required to bring this outbreak quickly under control is.
As vaccine preventable, Dr. Shaibu said most of the manifestations and mortality recorded were as a result of incomplete or zero-level immunization, urging parents to ensure complete immunization of their children. In Kano, Aminu Umar, NTA News.
And talking security now, total restoration of peace in the northeast region and Nigeria is a commitment the Nigerian Armed Forces will never renege on. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Agwabe Musa made this declaration at his maiden visit to the Theatre Command Headquarters of Operation Hadinke in Maiduguri. Pauline Kuje reports.
Able, willing and unyielding frontier troops welcoming the Chief of Defense Staff to a familiar terrain, having once led the Theatre Command. It is a maiden visit on his present status with additional missions of assessment and morale boosting to officers and men on the line of duty in defense of nationhood. A pledge to make Nigeria safe, a commitment to broad-based enhancement of well-being and welfare of the armed forces personnel, and subduing all forms of aggression against the country are issues captured in his presentations.
Whatever it is that is going now is just going to be momentary. We are putting measures in place, we are readjusting our operations, enhancing our capabilities, we are getting the support of the presidency. And to the criminals, their days are numbered. It's just a matter of time. As members of the armed forces and other security agencies, we will not let Nigerians down.
The general also visited injured soldiers at the military reference hospital Memalari Barracks and made cash donations to victims, with additional 1 million naira support from Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala. He also paid homage on the Shehu of Borno, where the royal father congratulated him over his elevation and showered with him blessings. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
African Civil Society Forum says the swift intervention of the governing All Progressives Congress into the impeachment move against the Deputy Governor of Oyo State was a true demonstration of the use of internal means to settle political disputes. The forum urged the State Assembly to allow the rule of law prevail, as the High Court sitting in Abuja has restrained it from further exercising legislative power on the matter. Chairman of the forum, Dr. Tunji Asaolu, commended the APC for using party instrument to resolve the issue of inaugurating a committee led by former Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masari.
Make laws for the state. They should also be mindful of the fact that there is an ongoing court injunction and the 9-month Reconciliation Committee under the leadership of His Excellency, Right Honorable Aminu Masari, the former governor of Katsina State, set up by the All Progressive Congress APC at the national level to look into this. On September 26, 2003, the Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja, also made orders of injunction, restraining the House of Assembly of Oyo State, the Chief Judge of Oyo State, the Oyo governors, and indeed other defendants in the case from taking steps that will lead to the impeachment of the deputy governor.
The forum adds that the Assembly should mobilize citizens to pray for the speedy recovery of the governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, who formally writes for 90 days absence and had since returned after a successful treatment. And next is sports updates.
As part